Friday evening to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and we've really had a great Friday out there for today. A lot of sunshine around and temperatures warmed into the lower 70s, feeling really comfortable, and we're heading into a nice weekend. Now, it's going to be rain-free. We will be dry, but the days are going to be different. Saturday is going to be a little warmer, and Sunday is going to be a little cooler. We have a cold front that's going to be moving in during the day on Saturday. That is going to kick up the wind a little bit, and it'll start bringing in some cooler air later on Saturday, but I do think we'll have time Saturday to get up to around 72 degrees in the afternoon before that cooler air starts moving in here. And you'll notice that cooler air on Sunday, where we're going to have lows back down to the 30s, and then afternoon highs will only be in the upper 50s here on your Sunday afternoon. The other thing we're going to be watching very closely as we move into next week is that we do expect to see some rain moving in by the middle of the week, and we're also watching this system for the potential for some storms to be rolling in as well. Meanwhile, take a look at what we're watching out there right now with our radar. You can see here dry conditions in our area. We don't have any rain here at all. We don't have any clouds around. And as you look here for those areas into the southeast, there's nothing really major moving in anywhere. So we will remain dry over the next few days here, not only for the weekend, but also into next week. We're going to see dry weather that'll be moving in. Now, as you know, this week we've been keeping an eye on the pollen count, and we were telling you we were expecting those pollen counts to rise more this week as those afternoon temperatures also were moving up. Now, we did rise every day, except for yesterday we went down a little bit, but then today we made up for that with the highest count that we have had so far this year. 683 is our pollen count. It is mainly from the tree pollens, and the main allergens present from those trees are juniper, elm, maple, pine, and unident tree. Now, I expect them to be high again through the weekend. We won't get the counts, though, this weekend from Atlanta Allergy and Asthma. We'll start getting those back on Monday. And on Monday, they may come down a little bit. Even though we're not having rain, it's because the temperatures are going to start coming down, and that'll kind of suppress some of the spread of the pollen in our area. So when we see these higher temperatures, that's when we see some of those higher counts coming in. And again, these counts we're having right now are nothing compared to what it's going to be like at the end of March and beginning of April when we have those pollen counts in the thousands. That's usually when we peak. Look at that high today, 73 degrees. That was 11 degrees above average. We should be around 62 for this time of year, so 73 was way above that. Our low this morning was 45, just about 3 degrees above the average. Now, even though that 73 was warm, it wasn't a record, wasn't really close to a record. We missed that by about 7 degrees. 80 degrees is the record for today's date, and still no rain. We're watching that deficit go up. We're now about 3/4 of an inch below where we should be in rainfall for the year. And taking a look at those highs and lows, this is when those temperatures were the lowest. That was this morning between 7 and 8 o'clock when we had those temperatures that dipped down into the mid-50s. And then look how we warmed during the day, getting up there to 73. I know the highest you see here is 72. Those were the hourly temperatures there at 3 and also 4 o'clock, but we bumped up to 73 briefly before going back down to 71. And now we're watching those evening temperatures that are going down into the 60s. Here's what I want you to watch as we head into the weekend, where we do have a fire danger. And if you were watching us earlier, we had talked about a fire weather watch for our area on Saturday. Well, that has been upgraded now to what is called a red flag warning, and that means that the fire conditions are going to be even a little more hazardous as we're getting closer to Saturday's date. So between 11 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in the afternoon, I want everyone to be aware of that high fire danger. Any fires that are out there or any fires that start can spread quickly because, number one, the air is going to be very dry. We're going to have relative humidity levels between 20 and 25% in the middle of the day. So that's very dry air. There's also a lot of dry fuels on the ground, meaning a lot of brush on the ground that is dry, leaves, pine straw, anything that's piling up, a lot of underbrush there. If a fire happened to start within anywhere, with the winds that are going to be whipping up during the day, we're talking about winds that'll be between 15 and 20 miles an hour, gusting at times to 25 plus miles an hour. With that dry fuel on the ground and with the dry air in place, that would really help those fires to spread with the winds whipping up. So just be careful out there. Don't be starting any fires. Just have that idea in your mind there that it will be conducive for fires to spread. So this is what I want you to watch for during the day here on Saturday. Again, between 11 and 8 o'clock, we've got a front that's going to be moving through during the day. It is a dry front. There's no rain with it. It's just reinforcing the drier air in place. It is the wind that's going to start whipping up, and so you'll need to be aware of that fire danger during the day here on Saturday. All right, let me show you what else we're going to be watching, though, during the day. Look at these wind gusts as they are going to be whipping up. You can see 7 in the morning. Not too bad, just breezy. And again, these are wind gusts, not the sustained winds. We're talking about wind gusts around 19 miles an hour early on Saturday morning. It's going to be in the afternoon hours when those winds are going to be a little bit more brisk. This is at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You see here those winds gusting around 24 miles an hour here in the Atlanta area, maybe up to 25 miles an hour in Duluth. Stronger winds in the mountains. And a lot of times in the mountains, we see those winds that are a little bit stronger. They're whipping up in between the mountains and valleys there. Maybe 31 mile an hour wind gusts up in the Clayton area. Once we get to 7 o'clock at night, still 20 mile per hour wind gusts, but during the evening and overnight, you see how those winds are going to start dying down a little bit. By Sunday morning, still just a little bit of breeze here and there, but nothing too gusty. Now, take a look at these temperatures that we have at the 9 o'clock hour here on Friday night. We're still holding in Atlanta at 60 degrees, but in the outlying areas, it is cooler. We often tell you about those outlying areas. The warmer air from the day is able to radiate much quickly out into the atmosphere, replaced by the cooler air at the surface. Compare our 60 here in Atlanta to 49 in Peachtree City right now, 51 in LaGrange and in Carrollton. We have more of those 50s to the north of us, east of us, and even up into parts of North Georgia as well. Through the day on Saturday, it is going to be a relatively cool start in the morning, right at about 48 degrees. And then we're up to 54 at 9 o'clock, eventually topping off at 72 in the afternoon. Now again, this is going to be very dependent. We know we're going to have a lot of sunshine, which will help to warm things up, but it's going to be the timing of the front. I think that the front will be passing through mid-afternoon. We'll still have that chance to get up into the lower 70s in the afternoon before we start seeing those temperatures falling. In fact, see what we do from 3 o'clock when it's 72 to 7 o'clock when it goes to 59 degrees. And then those temperatures will be falling even more through the rest of the evening hours and overnight for a pretty chilly start here on your Sunday morning. Here's a look at the moisture map. Whenever you see these purple colors here, just look at the legend at the top and you can see that that purple corresponds with the very dry air. We've got that tonight. We're going to have that tomorrow and on Sunday too. So even though we have a front coming in on Saturday, it just doesn't have any moisture with it. So we're not going to see any rain generated by that front. In fact, that front's just going to reinforce the drier air and also the cooler air that's going to start moving in here. So it stays dry on Monday. And then into Tuesday, we're going to see just a few more clouds that are going to be building in, but notice this moisture building out to the west. You see the colors getting kind of yellow there? That's indicating that the air is getting more and more moist, and that's because that's going to have some rain with it. That's going to sweep through during the day on Wednesday, and I really think the rain chances will be higher earlier in the day on Wednesday when we see showers, maybe a few thunderstorms that'll be moving through, and then drier air and colder air again will replace that, moving in on Thursday as well as into Friday. But then we're watching another batch of moisture coming in. We're thinking later on Friday, potentially into next weekend. The models have been pretty consistent with this so far, sending that next batch of rain in here later Friday and into Saturday of next weekend. So enjoy this weekend because both days will be dry. Next weekend, it might be just a little bit wetter out there. So here's a look at your rain chances this weekend. You see nothing going on here. Monday and Tuesday dry, and then we've got that 60% chance for showers pushing in for Wednesday. And again, watching the potential for storms too. I'm going to break that down for you in just a second. Also, warm for the weekend. Now, I've been saying it's going to be kind of a half and half weekend. Both days are going to be dry, but when I'm talking about the half and half weekend, I'm talking about the temperatures because on Saturday, it'll be warm with temperatures in the lower 70s. But remember that front's coming in, and as that front comes in on Sunday, it is going to be cooler with afternoon temperatures on Sunday only in the upper 50s. We do go up a little bit Saturday to the lower 60s and then warming a little bit more Tuesday into Wednesday. And as this warm air comes in Tuesday into Wednesday, that's when we're watching that next system come in with some rain and that storm threat. And then behind that, as that pushes out, going into your Thursday and later Wednesday into Thursday, that's when the cooler air is going to be moving in. So here's a look at the morning lows. We start off at 48 in the morning here in Atlanta, and then Sunday and Monday will be the coolest mornings of the week when we're in the mid-30s here to start both Sunday and Monday morning, and then 40s for a low Tuesday. On Wednesday, that's the timeline when we see more moisture in place and we see the milder air in the morning with some of that rain around, so it won't be quite as cool there. And look at the afternoon highs too. Remember the half and half weekend I was talking about? 72 Saturday, 59 Sunday, 61 Monday, back to near 70 here on Tuesday as well as on Wednesday. So here's a look at the extended models here. Through the weekend, you see still dry, but we're going to watch this system developing out to the west of us. Now on Monday, maybe just a few more clouds. Tuesday, still dry, a few more clouds here. But there's that rain on Tuesday. Now we're watching it out to the west, where we think the ingredients are going to be higher to the states to the west of us for stronger storms on Tuesday. This is going to move in here. And I think the timing may be in our favor on Wednesday. If this comes in, the strongest part of this system, early on Wednesday, when our air is more stable, that will hopefully break down the severe weather threat. But then as it continues to move away, it might ramp up later in the day to the east of us over into the Carolinas. But just expect some showers Wednesday, the potential for a few thunderstorms around, and then drying out on Thursday, and then watching the next system developing that we think could come in late Friday and also into next Saturday. So let's look at the storm potential and the severe weather threat. Right now, the Storm Prediction Center is thinking that for those states just out to our west, the chances are higher for severe storms on Tuesday along the Mississippi River Valley area here and those surrounding areas. And then on Wednesday, as the system moves to the east of us, it takes that severe weather threat to the east of us. Now, I know you're looking at this map thinking, wait, is it skipping over us? Does that mean we won't have a severe weather threat? Well, again, as I mentioned, the timing of this being that as the main part of the system comes in Wednesday morning, it may be a little less likely for us to see some severe storms. So this is just kind of how the Storm Prediction Center is looking at this right now with that severe weather threat. But as you know, we're going to be watching this very closely, and of course as we get into at least the first part of next week, especially on Monday and Tuesday, we're going to have more high resolution data coming in, and that will help us to kind of break down any of those threats even more. So summarizing your weekend, what to know. A dry weekend. We'll have 70s here on Saturday. It's going to be breezy. And then going into Sunday, we have the cooler air that's going to be pushing into our area. So here's a look at your 7-day outlook, and we can summarize everything that's going on here in our area. We will see those temperatures that are going to be going up here to 72 on Saturday. Then as we continue on and head into Sunday, it will be cooler with temperatures around 59 degrees here Sunday, and then back to 61 on Monday, 70 Tuesday. There's that rain chance on Wednesday at 60%. And again, watching that potential for a few storms around. And then Thursday and Friday, we're going to be drying out a good bit. And as we dry out on Thursday and Friday, it's also going to be a little bit cooler here with temperatures on Thursday at 58 and then 63 on Friday. And then we'll be watching that next rain system that has the potential to come in here for next weekend. So enjoy this weekend. It is going to be a nice one, kind of half and half. Warmer on Saturday, cooler on your Sunday. We're Thank you for joining us here for this extended weather discussion right here on 11 Alive Plus. We'll have more for you coming up tonight at 11 on 11 Alive News on TV, as well as here on 11 Alive Plus too.